starting is USC. Also, do you have a favorite game that you coached while you were there?
Yeah, the Notre Dame game was really the favorite game. You know, there's two things. That's a favorite game for me because of the execution that took place to win that football game, and the excitement and to watch the guys perform under that tremendous pressure to come through at the end, you know, and that was really cool. I loved it from Matt that he got to score the winning touchdown, you know, and all of that. It was just really a perfect ending to it, you know. How much do we love to beat Notre Dame? You know what I mean? So that was fair. That was probably my favorite one. Yes?
Coach Carroll, you spoke about vision. At what point at USC did you realize that the team had bought into the vision?
That's a good question. The question is, in case you couldn't hear it, is at what point did we realize it? There was a marker that was early on that really wasn't, as much as I was selling it, it wasn't the critical point. But there was a time, and there was actually a play that turned this. We were playing, and again, the story's in the book. Arizona, and Keith Bouchard intercepts the pass, and he runs it back. We had been kind of getting kicked around. We were 2-5 at the time, and looking like we were going to get beat again. Like Arizona was going to come back and beat us. And we made the kind of play that you have to make as winners do, and we finished the game off from that point with kind of a real impetus. And we got in the locker room, and I actually got to say to the guys, we don't have to lose anymore. You know, we're done with this losing thing. Let's start winning and turn this thing and change our whole fortunes. We don't have to be of that mindset where you would, as happens, teams that aren't successful often find ways to make the mistakes, you know, because they kind of expect that. So we had changed that. That was really a marker point. But I think it was the key turnaround was really the Orange Bowl when we played Iowa. That was when we were as good as anybody that was playing football. And every year at the end of the year, we could have beaten anybody that was alive, you know. Whether we had the opportunity to play in the biggest game or not, we felt like that. And so, but I think that Iowa accomplishment in that game and that setting and all was really the one that really turned us. We really had it. What else we got? Yes, way in the back.
What happens to the USC dynasty without you?
Say that again, please.
What happens to the USC dynasty without you?
Well, I think they have a really good team coming back. And Lane is determined to get these guys playing right. They've practiced really well. They had a great spring practice. It's challenging for them, but they've got a great nucleus, starting with Matt Barkley, who I think is a phenomenal player. I know a lot of you wondered and challenged, well, did he lose his mind, you know, playing the freshman? But as things turned out, with Mark going to the league, that was really a great alternative for us, and we had to take some lumps, you know, with the young quarterback. But Matt's going to be a great player, and I think he'll be just as good as anybody that's ever played there soon. And it didn't quite get to that this year. It was a bit of a dream to hope he could, but we were close. But I think in this year he's going to get him going, and they got a lot of good guys coming back. So I would be very hopeful about this season. Yes, Sid.
What message would you have from the new incoming USC coach?
What advice? Well, I'm not advising him too much. We talk all the time. You know, he's pretty much got his mind set. You know, he's got his way. He's been through all of the kind of training that I could put him through. You know, we raised Lane up. He was, you know, a first-year coach. First time he ever had a full-time job was with us, and so he knows all of the principles and the approach. And he's really smart. He's got a fantastic staff. His dad is one of the best coaches the best coach I ever knew, and he's on that staff to support them. And Eddie is back. You know, Eddie Ogeron. They have a very good group, and they've got a good nucleus. So what I do is I remind him to continue to be himself and come from his heart, and don't do things like people want you to. You know, don't act on somebody else's dreams. Follow your own, and that's the biggest support. And he doesn't listen to much I say. Yes.
You ever get burned out in your time at USC, and if so, how'd you overcome it?
I was challenged, somewhat, every year, because we worked so hard and pushed so far. But it was always with the understanding in my mind, that's what it's supposed to be. You go till you can't go any farther, and then you regroup and you regenerate, then you do it again. So every year, I don't know. I don't think it's called burnout. It's just fatigue. But I was always able to respond and all that, and I kind of like it. I'm a little sick that way. But you just go so hard and so take it as far as you can, and last as long as you can, and then you put it all back together again. So I'm doing okay about that. I'm not worn out at all. I couldn't be more excited about what we're going into here in Seattle, and really we're only a couple weeks away. So I'm kind of liking vacation ending quick. I'm sorry to tell you that, but I'm looking forward to getting things started. Yes, do a couple more. Yeah, okay, 3 more. Yes.
When you're stuck on this side here and you need to get us stuck moving forward, what is your inspiration for that?
Well,
What gets you unstuck?
okay, well, first, it's to start out, you have to believe this process has a chance to be successful. Okay, you got the process of creating a vision and getting your sights set on what you want to change and what you want to become. You have to believe in it first. If you don't, you're going to give up on it. So that starts with the belief that, okay, this is a way, and I'm trying to tell you, we've been doing it and trying to convince you so that you'll utilize the approach. You create what you want to change. Something isn't right. You've got to insightfully make some decisions. And you should make some notes or journal or however you do it to create, so that you can create now what you want to adjust and what you want to become. That needs to be really clear. Whether it's a vision board, whether it's a piece of paper on your refrigerator, however you want to do it, you need to create that thought of what it is that you want, where you want to go. Then the part, it's already underway. Once you've done that and gone through that process, you're already starting to change. The next step is you've got to stay in connection with that vision. So you need habits. That's where coaches come in. And so you guys got to kind of coach yourself or work with one another to stay in touch. But you need to keep coming back to reminders that keep you in connection with this vision can happen. And that's where I think that's my job. You know, I'm trying to help other people do that. But in our own, you know, if you'll believe in the power of vision and stand with it, you can change whatever you want. And that's it. It isn't any harder than that. Remember, if you're a little kid and you think you're going to die or go to jail, you're gone. You don't have a chance of that. I mean, you have to luck out for that not to happen. So you have the power to do this, and you just have to set your sights, go through the process, go inside, figure it out, and get really clear and feel really good about it, and then you're underway. And I know you'll see the changes. Yeah.
Pete, what do you tell young athletes that are in high school athletic but do not focus on, they focus on sports, but they do not focus on academics?
Well, you know, it depends on what level athlete you're talking about. If you can use what we often use, the carrot that, you know, you can't go on to college and play the sports you want to play if you're a really aspiring athlete, you know, so that's as blunt as that is, that's what it was in recruiting. You know, there's kids all the time that had no idea that they're ever going to play sports beyond high school, and they're just kind of screwing around. They got no grades, they got nothing going for them. And then in their middle of their sophomore year, their junior year, they start to see it, and then you create the vision that you can be a college player, and here's the steps you have to take, and you get the support from the guys around the school, and you do it in that manner. That's a little easier because that's a really tangible goal. I think when you're talking to kids that are not headed towards college sports, now you get a little bit tougher challenge. The thing that I would like to say to parents and even youth coaches is that as much as we like to direct our kids to become what we want them to become, what I really think is the key is to figure out what your kid is really gifted at and really good at, and where he has strengths and where he has dreams. That's harder for us because it doesn't always coincide with what we think. But if you can connect with your kid's dream, and if you can start to communicate in support of that, you might have a better chance to talk to him. If you're talking to a kid and you're thinking this and he's thinking this, well, no wonder the communication is like it is. Have we all experienced our kids having problems not listening and all? Of course we have. But the more that we'll tune in and listen and observe and watch and see where they want to go and help them kind of formulate that with the strengths that they have and the tendencies that they have, the quicker the whole process will go, and the communication will start to kick in, and they'll want to talk to you when you're supporting what they want to become. We have to, it's a give and take, but that's, so with the kids in school, I think you have to be on it, and you have to start working, you have to make them understand that college is important, and getting good grades are important so that they can have other opportunities. Not hanging out the athletic thing, but hanging out the achievement and aspiration for their lives and stuff. But I really think, and I say this because we do exactly the same thing with our players. Exactly with the same thing in kids in the streets. We want to see what kind of a player they could become, what kind of a coach could somebody become, where are their strengths, and then bring that to the surface, talk about it, formulate a vision of that, and then start them on track to becoming that. And boy, they listen better when you're supporting them, you know, than fighting them all the time, which we do. Okay, we've got one last question. Sorry, guys. Yes.
So I'm a huge fan of your philosophy. I mean, you're up in England. I was like the biggest fan of comedy sport radio all the time. And it was so painful.
Did you ever talk to Fred Smirlis on talk radio up there?
I did.
Did you? Oh, good.
I wrote
Good.
about
You're
it.
bold.